So Logan HipHop Collective is a project that came out of a conversation with Jim Chalmers, the local federal MP in Logan, which surprised me totally because, you know, federal politician into hip hop was a little bit amusing. And particularly being, he knew artists I didn't know, so I found that really inspiring, I guess, and I was pretty keen to see what we could make happen.
This idea has been swimming around in my head for a long time now, and earlier in the year I thought it would be a great opportunity to get people from the community to make hip-hop music about the community. I grew up listening to hip-hop music. I've been into hip-hop for as long as I can remember, and so it was just a really great match for me between the talent that's in the community, my own interests, and the ability of the community to come together and put something on, which was really great.
From there we started a series of meetings with artists, and I met, you know, MC Tricks, which was really cool because he had a space and sort of opened up his doors for us to go into his space, and just like lots of different conversations, I guess, with a hope of artists just to talk about, you know, where they were at in terms of their music careers, what they were, where they were aspiring to be. Would this sort of project, not just the festival, not just having an event, but actually helping them in terms of their career development.
It's on the rise, who am I to be kind when you're bigger than I got sweat in my eye because I'm working the grind. I'm packing my mind to find what spare time is. I'm always working, so I'm certain I'm a virus.
Yeah, always known to keep it so much hyper. Mr. Nuggy G, but know I'm stepping in that cypher. Always get it live, or I'm coming back in circuit breakers. I do it every day, just to shake ya. It's how I get down the sound that I'm bringing. Rapping on the mic, it's the stuff that I'm bringing. Never lingering over these same old beats. When they step up to the mic, you know I'll give them a seat. And you're a freestyle kid, something they can't stop.
Where I see our role in terms of the collective moving forward is really being able to work with the artists in a more strategic way, bringing in industry professionals that can talk to the artists about, you know, what are the gaps, what are their aspirations, like, you know, what is when's the right time to have a manager, like when's the right time to engage a booking agent, like how do you know, steer that career. I think it will be looked back on as a point in history in terms of hip-hop music in Australia. I think some of the artists that we're working with now will be superstars, and I say that totally believing that 100%. I think that they'll be the artists that come back in 5 years' time, 10 years' time, and you know, they're the ones that are giving their inspiring talk to a bunch of other emerging artists, and talking about their journey and how it started, and goosebumps just thinking about it. Yeah, so I think it's going to have a massive impact.
Shout out to the real brothers, north, south, east and western. So when I say the flow, you know the way to roll. Rock, turn up that radio, it's that hot tricks flow. Hip hop blows, sick pop rolls, drop kick flows. Got this so top list and flow. Hot rich, no, lot of sick flow. Hot tricks flow, hip hop blows, sick pop rolls, drop kick flows. Got this so top list and flow. Hot and rich, no, lot of sick flopper cyclones to the microphone. Same way that weather do, judging this book by its cover. That's something you never do. One day you'll find a hustler like me that you never knew. B-boy, beatbox, buster, flow true with a clever clue. Like in a lane way that an addict with skids for a fix a needle. Same way that tricks makes hits from a mix of people. Game pays, hot show hitters, rap not equal. Gameplay by top flow spitters is hot lethal. While you puffing on your nicotine, trying to be stressed, be grabbing the mic and spitting at me. Be a natural reflex. Rhyme perfected, type respected in the lab, de-stress. Or it's protected the connection of a collab weed nest. Learned so much at a young age, childhood skipped it all. See, I can picture it now. Looking through a crystal ball, missed it all. Went ballistical, bar statistical, I risked it all. Equipped the kick, flip the script, sick and hit it all. Hot tricks, flow, hip hop, blows, sick pop, rolls, drop kick, flows. Got this, so top list and flow. Hot and rich, no, lot of sick flow. Hot tricks, flow, hip hop, blows, sick pop, rolls, drop kick, flows. Got this, so top list and flow. Hot and rich, no, lot of sick flow.
Yeah, I think Trix is a really inspiring character. I mean, he's like the Energizer Bunny on steroids.
I can do it nice and me, but I can roll the dice, and yeah, I don't even know what that is. That's sweet potato and it tastes good, straight up from the wood. This is my neighborhood, never coulda, shoulda, would. That's why I never understood. Now I'm gonna eat. Nah, sit down.
Like, to discover him was just really exciting for me. I love finding new artists, I really love, but especially to find one that's so committed to their community, their craft, and just a lovely guy to boot. The fact that, you know, he put himself out there to just open up a space that community could use, and with a view to having, you know, some sort of studio that, you know, could generate some music projects with his experience as well, because he's actually got quite a lot of experience working in remote communities, and his passion for hip hop culture is just, yeah, I don't think I've ever met anyone who was more passionate.
I think the start of the Hip Hop Collective, you know, that's very good. Just that there by itself, happening in the Logan community, you know, that's empowering just by itself, man. Just by having different cultures, different walks of life, different age groups, I mean, all together as one pretty much makes us strong.
I put it down for my people that like rap like this. For my brothers that's on the hustle and back on spliffs. You couldn't teach this uniqueness right back like this. All peoples, all equals, whites and blacks and whip. I never hit a needle, but I'm still scattering daybreak. There's no telling what's in the future or what the day make. Unexplainable word description, that's not a day late. Southside syllables, sick and sucker, Satan straight. Situation situated, no time for them player hate. Music that's appreciated, underground flavor breaks. Hands down, underrate, land down, understate. QAD, breezy, Logan City, I stand proud, hustler main. Your average everyday buster coming straight from the woods. My dope rhymes on flow time, clubbing straight through your hood. Stepping in this game, people said that I should. Cause when they become raising levels, people knew that I would. Step the game up.
Live performances, yeah, I've been doing that since I was 18, bro. Like, as soon as I started writing, I was pretty much alright to jump straight on stage. The main reason why I did open up this studio was because, so last year I was coming to a stop where I was just kind of going to give up hip hop, you know what I mean? And, but you know what I mean? The words kept saying to me, hip hop don't stop, you know what I mean? It's been a saying since the 70s, 80s, you know what I mean? Hip hop don't stop. And I was walking past this place and it was empty, you know, and I grew up around here. It was a really big surprise to see a member of parliament to come up with the idea, you know, Jim Chalmers, to come up with that idea to have this hip hop collective or something hip hop, because, you know, as we do know, you know, the government are very against hip hop or what we do, and they don't really understand us. So, you know, that was just a surprise. And it was a good thing as well, you know. It was a good thing and a good move. Hip-hop's everywhere. We're everywhere. We're everything. And you know what I mean? Everywhere you walk, there's graffiti. Everywhere you walk, there's somebody listening to music. Every ad you watch on TV, there's a hip-hop ad. So it's good that now, I hope that the government can start to understand.
I've been sitting there thinking something of sadness while I'm sitting here thinking this is all I have to this. Well, this is the way I express myself. I start writing songs cause I know what helps. Keeping it all bottled up with any wreck your health. So do best for self, it'll set your wealth and keep walking your path. There's nobody stopping ya. Get right back up, you're hitting rock bottom, brah. These days, got no time for giving up. Gotta get back up, gotta start living it up.
All I can say is, you know what I mean, Logan, you know, we could potentially become that hip-hop capital of Australia. And from what's happening now, this is the start of it.
It was really interesting, this common thread of Logan pride that ran through all of the conversations that I had. And so from there we sort of negotiated, I guess, a bit of a framework to work with artists to develop the collective more so than the event. So the event was always going to happen, and I guess from my perspective, it's probably secondary to working with the artists and developing this idea of a collective, which is based out of Logan, and had an opportunity then to work with those artists post an event, to see their careers develop and, you know, I guess shine a light on Logan as this hub of creativity.
We some superstars, yes.
Jumping could get the number full of stars. If you're crashing up, producers trying to rip me off. Rappers just piss me off. We're all about to set it off. Feel that liquor and spark, destroying candy rappers. We the realest from the start. So what you know about our crew? What you know about our team? Some of the realest MCs who I stepped in the scene. So what you know about our crew? What you know about our team? Some of the realest MCs who I stepped in the scene.
Carnage is back to see you cats as zombies with a brush lobotomy from an evil scientist in the dark laboratory. The flu rides in your water, so I guess it ain't too far-fetched. Half these rappers are pointless. Time to point this laser-guided mic at your body and make decisions about division. Like the British did to Africa, nobody listens. So wake up, Palestine might be missing too. Take up.
Yeah, so we've been rapping since high school days. You know, kicked off with my cousin Carnage. So he's a little bit older than me, and he started rapping and making a name for himself. He used to come over my house and write a few raps and get me to start rapping as well. So I got into it, but from an early age, since the age of 8, 9 or 10, both of us were into hip hop from the get, because you know, we're from Fijian Indian background, and one of our first main songs that we ever made was about our history. It was called Broken Shackles, how we went from India to Fiji and whatnot, and then to Australia. So it didn't just reflect on just us being Indian, but anyone that's gone through different struggles like that, and that was a common thing that people could relate to as well.
Got something to say, man? I ain't gonna let no redneck jacks hold me back. I bust through doors, they took what's mine, now I take what's yours. Don't get me wrong, I got white friends, say nice friends. I'm just talking about the type that don't like brown skin. I step up in the club and it's like, oh man, who the hell are you? What I gotta do? Put up 2 fingers, say I come in peace to an alien dude. Hiding that face behind shade, taking me in my race. It's a damn shame, you gotta be crazy if you thought you could be fading me, man. Vacating these premises, something that ain't happening, man. I'm rapping to them, they clapping their hands, but really they couldn't be dead. Country bumpkins got staring problems or something, looking at the flags on my cap. I know what you're thinking, I see it in your eyes. I couldn't help but notice you ain't even blinking. Why am I surprised? 5-0 officer, can't break the covers up. Trigger finger itchy to pepper spray us up. Damn, Sarge, how you gonna play us up? Bob Atkinson, you need to check your mother, but the truth is damn.
It's not a want, it's like more like it needs to be a regular thing. It needs to happen every year. If it doesn't happen every year, you know what I mean? We're pretty much not given that opportunity of talent to come through. That's just what's happened here. It's instead of the talent getting pushed, you know what I mean? It's more like here the talent kind of gets blocked because we don't have opportunities like this to perform and to be in front of our own locals as well. And you know what I mean? If it does happen every year, the empowerment that it's going to have on the community is going to be massive. It's going to be a result that they've never seen before. So if they do keep it going, you know what I mean, we will see that result. If they don't, we'll never know.
Yeah, Cyrus and Sleaze. Check it out. JV, baby. Yo. Verb the gifted individual. My rap style label is scientifical. Phrases and flows broken down into mathematical proportions. Giving MCs lyrics abortions. Punishment is fatal for rhyme extortion. Constant torment, lyrical readjustment. Consequences are severe. The present danger is here. MCs fear my every thought's word and actions. Then break out in highs from the chemical.
Formerly known as Andre. I go by the name of Osiris. Basically, that's my front in the hip-hop scene. Myself, I'm 27 years of age, born in April, Brisbane born and bred. But my family, my heritage is Colombian Irish. Been in Logan, Browns Plains for the last 15 years. It's home. It will always be home now. Moved out here with my mum and my 2 sisters and my brother at that time. I was young. I was back in the day, but yeah, Mum was going through divorce and all that sort of family crap, and we moved out here. We bought a house together. You know, like I helped her in every aspect that I could. It was just me and her. Grew up pretty strong in the hip hop scene. You know, with my uncles pretty much being my older brothers, basically. They taught me everything I know as far as hip hop culture, from back in the day to where it is now. I've got 2 kids myself, and I hope to bring them up in the community, I guess righteously and justifiably. Correct, if I could say that politically in the right term, but here in Logan, you know, it's a bit harder than what you would normally see out in a lot of other suburbs.
Man, I hate it when people are just be testing my limits, cause then I scatter the brains and there was Jimmy the Crickets. Look at me now, though, knocking down wickets, I'm selling out tickets, cause throwing that niggas while I'm eating my stick. I'm feeling dope, feeling fresh, feeling motherfucking awesome. And yes, I think I'm down for freaky fun, awesome. Gold, silver, bronze, man, I'm slamming harder than the bronze and going faster than them. I'm fucked up than the pumps. I'm feeling dope, feeling fucking fantastic. And yes, I know I'm even rapping like a spastic, snapping back like elastic.
Get your bitch feeling drastic. They give your ass an ass kick. You ain't like Jurassic. Take something magical, turn it into lyrical. Something so tragical could turn into a miracle. And feel the rhythm of this pain. Cause living life in vain, and there's no one else to blame.
A sign of expression, self-expression. That's what it was back in the beginning, you know? From when hip hop was created, rap was created back in the days, you know, centuries ago. But it's a sign of expression, a way of release for me. You know, some people like to go out there and beat a bag. Some people like to go for a run for 10Ks. I like to write down what's going through my head to something that gives me that emotion. So when I hear that music, I feel that emotion inside me, and that's what comes out when I write it down.
Words of torture, my words be haunting you and beating you black and blue. Uncontrollable. Why? Cause I seem to be attacking you with my telepathic powers. Spitting written shit for hours, making money, candy powers. Make your daughter scream for hours like a psycho in the shower and a villain in the street. I make my money while I'm living and I'm killing it to be. Like a poet on the streets, I set my lyrics to defeat. As I'm creeping in, I creep because I come to run the street. Knock, knock, who's there? Knock, knock, who's there?
I want to be my own man, my own label, and grab people from the youth and, you know, scout out that talent as well, because there's so much unseen talent out here, so much. And if only somebody gave them a chance. This collective is doing that. That's what's happening. That's what they've been doing. You know, some of the guys that I met, like I said, never done a performance in their life, and when I had the privilege to actually, you know, have that first performance with them, be there for that, you know, so. It's inspiring. You know, it's good to see that people want to do that and the reaction that they have to that. So if I could say one thing, it's the Hip Hop Collective needs to keep doing what they're doing, and they'll go a long way.
Thank you one time for coming out. It's been good. It's been good.
Yeah, check it.
Easy get 'em high, easy get 'em low. Easy about to drop bombs, fire in the hole. Yeah, we can't let 'em know. From the double 1-4, we rolling over no, bring it back and roll. Easy get 'em high, easy get 'em low. Easy about to drop bombs, fire in the hole. Yeah, we can't let 'em know. From the double 1-4, we rolling over no, bring it back and roll. Easy get 'em high, easy get 'em low. Easy about to drop bombs, fire in the hole. Yeah, we can't let 'em know. We rolling over no, bring it back and roll. Easy get 'em high, easy get 'em low. Easy got to drop bombs, fire in the hole. Yeah, we can't let 'em know. No, that double 1-4. Rolling over no, bring it back and roll. Yeah, I'm fresh out the basement, killing it. Supreme Court wasted lyricists back on the avenue, kicking it. Easy the most elite. What? Funny that was last week how we heard these peeps spitting this. Ciphering balls on Rio, mixed with Logan City bricks. A minute, I'm all quick and tell her they reside in the same shit. 14 years split like Gullo splits. Tortillas and Chuck T's. Empty brown bottom tents after being on the piss, man. Like Max said, we were troublesome then, and here we are still troublesome when you're home.
People look at Logan as the ghetto, a place that you don't want to be, don't want to be walking around. Like, yeah, hard. There is still that element here, but stop talking about it. We do something about it, you know. Like, that's what we are trying to do. Like, yeah, just trying to help the community, help the kids. It all starts at home though, but yeah, like Logan's home for us. We love it here. It's our people, and that's what we're about too, representing Logan.
Get your hands up.
Chill, welcome to the South Side. In the summertime, chilling in my neighborhood, Logan City, state of mind. Kick back and relax and chill out. I got a bag in the coke on crack, then I'ma chill out. Music on blast for your ass, nigga, pizzazz. So when I get a chance, I'ma dance, nigga, look out. Whoa, see it's a gangster party, and we don't stop until the crack of dawn. And with all the smack talking, all the rap ciphers. What's going on, son? The night's still young. Let me put this drink in, let me roll up a fat blunt.
It's about us really just telling our story through our rhymes. You know, if people relate, that's I guess an extra to us, because we're just making music that we appreciate, to be honest.
Expressing yourself. Like, I'm not a dancer. I'm not a singer. Rap is just one of the most purest forms of expression, self-expression, you know, like saying what I want to say, the art of storytelling. Yeah.
We pretty much live and breathe it.
And through the fire, we made our way through the rain. I know you're sick and tired, my homie, I feel your pain.
Yeah, sunshine fades away, skies consume my grave. Clouds that bring the rain while souls run for shade. Knowing they home is safe, not knowing that water waits. The journey to open gates is far from easy lanes. A victim to gutter ways, some storms are happy days. Got caught up in a drizzle, every day is just the same. Let's walk to go and see when all that sees is rain. So see beyond the clouds and see a sunny day. I'm sick of the daily struggle, that's why we forever hustle. Got lost along the way with little faith in the double. I spit this on the real cause everybody got their problems to tell.
10 years, wow. Hopefully everyone's got a record deal. Making some money.
So we're doing it for the passion right now, but
I hope it becomes big. I hope it becomes big. I hope the whole of Brisbane hears about it, sort of thing, gets behind it. You know, if it's not just Logan, maybe a whole Brisbane hip-hop collective sort of thing, you know, like, I'd love to see that. You know?
With a hatchet, loving city home, from the younger to the casket. Easy coming up, easy company if you ask it. From the gutter where we son of a guns blast, blow them up like the homies up in the backseat. Rolling up like an ounce, blowing up that shit on that rap shit, like an addict to the crack. I'm a semi-automatic, every track list, that's all the madness. I'm free falling, no parachutes with me, and OG ballin', Mike Jordan, Scott Pippen, since a young gun, fast forward, still clipping Mr. Asshole from you haters who dissing your side, dropping like they don't entrance, and now gas bombs over Baghdad.
The conversation that I'd had with Jim about having some sort of headline artist that could come down and, you know, feature at the event, but also talk to the artist about his journey. And he had a list, and El Fresh was at the top of it, and we got El Fresh.
I want the truth. I say we want the truth. We want the truth. We're in the party, right? So let me see you throw your hands up high. Let's go, let's go. We're in the party, right? So let me see you throw your hands up high. So get 'em up, get 'em up. We're in a party, right? So let me see you throw your hands up high. We're in a party, right? So let me see you throw your hands up high. A hip-hop, a hip-hop, a hip-hop, you the love of my life. A hip-hop, a hip-hop, a hip-hop, you the love of my life.
It was fun. Logan felt like home. The community here really embracing, really welcoming. No artist exists as an individual. They all have teams, and whether people believe that or not is another story. But all artists have teams, and not just the teams that help them from in the immediate sense, but also the community around them, the family, the members of the community, other artists. So having that collective base here being built in Logan is really, really encouraging. And not many communities do that. They're not that proactive in being able to do something like that. So to be able to identify that this community needs that, to put that in place, and for people who are looking to build platforms within their own communities for voices to be heard, it's not just about being the spokesperson. It's about occupying all of those spaces and supporting that and being playing a part in all of those roles so that they can be platforms, not relying upon anybody else to tell their story, but to tell it themselves. So learn the skills, learn the skills of what it takes to be a good speaker, performer, filmmaker, director, radio presenter, whatever it might be, artist, visual artist, all of those things, because it takes a collective.
Where people ain't afraid to be jealous, where it's like you're weird if you're ever acting overzealous. Inspiration finds the mind when I'm hanging with the fellas, watching politicians speak, but ain't sure what they tell us. Talking the same, it's just remixed like acapellas. Ask one to spell it, but they stink so much that you can smell it.
From the night that it all happened, the Hip Hop Collective night, it was massive, like the amount of people that turned up and showed their support for a bunch of people that they didn't even know. People that they've just heard in their community are going to be there. Maybe some of them knew some people, but at the end of the day, the community came through for what we needed and what we needed as artists, which was support.
One thing that we struggled with as kids growing up, people said that we had the talent and whatnot, but we didn't have the actual resources and know what to really do and take it to that next level. And I think definitely like performing in this sort of environment and being surrounded around various people that can help you, it will definitely help them to take that next step.
Yeah, and also in the future we want to see it go international, and it is global to a certain extent. That's through YouTube and online sort of social media, but we also want to see it on your TV.
I think the Logan City HipHop Collective has the ability now to really get some momentum. We've got a great foundation of talent. People are starting to talk about it around the community. We've got an opportunity to do something really terrific, not just an annual event like the one that we put on, but all kinds of workshops, all kinds of talent, industry people, everything all coming together to make Logan City the sort of epicentre of the hip-hop world in Australia.
I think it has a lot of potential. It does. And the more annual events that we have and artists that come through, it'll be awesome. Hopefully it does blow up, and we're here for it. We're here to back it up.
I think the Logan community is a really exciting place. I think Logan, I think it's the most, or if not the most, one of the top 2 most culturally diverse communities in Queensland. I think what we had, Pacific Island, African, Indigenous, Muslim, Fijian, Indian Fijian. So we just had this disparate range of cultures, faith backgrounds, worldviews, with this common hip-hop culture that have come together.
For the collective themselves, the recent collective, I see a lot of potential in it. I see the potential of it, working through, with youth groups, working through doing tours throughout Australia, going into rural areas, doing more community stuff like that. Expanding, but not expanding for its self-profit, expanding for the profit of the youth, profit of the community. That's what pretty much happened up here. They helped us out by doing the right thing for us as artists, putting us in a decent location, a beautiful venue. Half the time, I've never been on a stage that big before. That was the best stage I've ever been on, and I want to go back on there, and I want more of that. And that's left a bit of sweet taste in my mouth, purely for the fact of, I don't want to lose that, and at the same time, I'm going to do everything I can to get back and get that.
Now that we have a Logan HipHop Collective, I'm a proud member myself, and it's good, we're getting more ears to what we're trying to say now, and to have members of parliament and more support from the industry, maybe the world could hear our message one day.
Genesis, the birth of my Adam and Eve. No temptation, there is no apple to eat. Unless you give me a mic to lay a rap on a beat. Even then I will tackle the beast. I am right, the poetical cat that'll shatter MCs. I stay ahead of the pack, cause I know who I be. Never be a slave, even if they shackle my feet. I am free, for days I can go on. There's no mic, I can't flow on. Time to get the show on, while these rappers chasing bread, trying to get their